All right, so we are back.
Hello and welcome back to Piano Talk 4. Verina and I are here together today to talk to you a little bit more about our culminating project of our doctorate degrees at the University of Utah, our dissertations.
Yes, and along with our dissertation, our lecture dissertation, Recital.
Yes, they kind of go together
So
in the finishing of your degree.
Exactly. And at the U, they do it so that you're writing a dissertation essay. It's not a dissertation that is required of most PhD programs. So again, the difference between a DMA and a PhD program.
DMA standing for Doctorate of Musical Arts.
Yeah, and it's more performance-based.
Yes.
And then a PhD is
more
research-based. So the dissertation essay didn't need to be nearly as long.
No.
However, it was still probably the same amount of time that we spent in preparation for the writing and then the actual lecture recital, which was just a 40 to 60 minute presentation of our research and all of the work that we had done.
Yes. You could choose to make a PowerPoint or just have just a lecture by itself. Both Verina and I decided to do a big PowerPoint. And then, of course, our committee was there. It was open up to the public, so anyone was able to come and listen. We put together a handout that went out to the public, our committee, so that they could follow along. And then we just got to speak and delve into everything that we had spent the last 6 to 8 months researching.
Yeah.
Spill it all out.
So we had previously selected our, topics. I think I selected my topic at least a year in advance. As you are in your doctorate program, there's 3 years, right? 2.5 years if you're doing it quickly.
Yeah, we went through it fast.
Yes, and so you want to start the program and kind of gain an idea of what your specific school and your specific committee is looking for in a dissertation topic.
Yeah.
And so we did completely different topics, but we both accomplished what we needed to and what was required.
Yeah, what was needed to be done to fully research that topic to its greatest extent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and again, a dissertation, like your topic needs to be original. So for me and Janae, that was probably the hardest thing, was figuring out what I wanted to do my research on. But once I got the topic, it just took off. It rocketed. It was so much easier.
Yeah.
And it was fast.
Yeah, I think when you start a doctorate program, I think you already are aware that your culminating project is going to be this dissertation, and I think it's always kind of
in the back,
residing in the back of your mind. And as you're going through the program, you're hoping that there might be research or assignments or performances that might help inspire you to finally narrow down that idea that you will pursue as your dissertation. And I remember that's how I felt when I first started.
Yeah, and it's so intimidating because
you feel like it's going to be huge, and it is huge, but...
And the thing is, like, for me, I didn't want to just write about something that I didn't have passion about.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to be something that you care a lot about.
That's relevant, that you can see yourself referring to in the future. You want to pick a topic that is actually going to inspire you as an artist.
Hopefully others. You hope that it's relevant material that others will find interesting.
And it can be something that is more recent and modern and... my topic was about how artists and pianists can take creative control in enhancing their private piano studios and their piano performance with YouTube as a tool. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to do, is something that is relevant to me, and then that's why I started this YouTube channel.
And Verina was so thorough. I wish that all of you out there could have attended her lecture dissertation recital, because she really did put a lot of time, effort, energy. She researched so long, put together so many videos that she put out there on YouTube, and I learned so much from what she researched, and it really, really was beneficial. I think that if any of you have ever contemplated the thought or the idea of using YouTube as a source,
it's a good tool.
Oh, absolutely. It was really great, and her committee were all enthralled too. So she did a good job.
Janae's too nice.
No,
but
it's true.
Actually, I think
I'm not making it up. It's
well,
true.
That's so nice. But
She inspired
I'm very
me.
Flattered. Janae has our YouTube channel.
I do.
She started.
All thanks to Verina. She was the one that
No.
got me going.
But Janae's topic that she had covered is not necessarily in the same kind of group of subject.
No, not the same
tell us
genre.
about what you did. I thought it was such a good idea as well.
Well, I started thinking and finally narrowing it down to my final topic probably back the beginning of 2019.
Wow.
And so we finished our degrees in December of 2019. So that's when I finally kind of honed in on my topic. And what I decided to focus on was my piano teacher, the incredible Dr. Irene Peary Fox. It's her life, her biography, and then her teaching method as a pedagogue. And being from Utah, she has, me being from Utah, Dr. Fox has been my teacher from the time I was a little girl, from about 6 years old up through my bachelor's degree in piano performance, through my master's degree at Brigham Young University in piano performance. And so I just have studied with her, I feel like, my whole life, because not only did I study with her up through high school, but after taking a long break, I went back and finished my schooling and studied with her. And so she was very, very influential in my life and in my performing, in my teaching career. And she has it figured out. Her studio is very, very successful.
And so established.
So strong.
Yeah.
People are wondering all the time what her tips and tricks or secrets are. And so she was kind enough to allow me to interview her all throughout the summer and to create my dissertation focused all around her inspiring life, her performance career, and then most importantly, her amazing teaching career as a pedagogue, a very, very amazing pedagogue that I strive to be like.
She was my teacher as well, and so I thought, this is the perfect topic for someone like Janae to come from so young and then to come back and finish her degree. And
After more than a 15-year break. Yeah, she's really been a part of my life forever.
Yeah, and not to only have her perspective as her student, but as one of her earliest students.
Here in Utah, because she's originally from Canada.
Yeah.
And she did her studies at the Juilliard School and then eventually brought her here to Utah.
So that's such a valuable source for anyone in the future who's going to want to understand her methods, because
and how they're successful.
Think she's taught hundreds of award-winning pianists.
She has it figured out, like I said.
Yeah.
She's really incredible.
Yeah. And Janae's dissertation, we've recorded it as well. So hopefully we can get the dissertation recitals and lecture dissertation recitals up on YouTube as well, so you can see us in action.
That feels like so long ago, though. We presented those in November.
Yeah, it was very long
November.
ago. So when it comes, so you've heard about our topic. So when you select your topic, you do the research. The dissertation itself has a specific format for your school, and so
every school's different.
Yes, it's all very different. So even down to the font, and then the margins and the spacing and the
table of contents,
especially the table of contents, page numbers.
But it is very, very specific.
Yes,
I would say that's almost one of the hardest parts of the entire thing.
It was
is making it
part.
Exactly the way your school's requirements.
So tips really quick for anyone at the U who wants to do who wants to do their dissertation, is get in touch with whoever. It might be a librarian, it might be the bibliography professor, whoever is in charge of formatting and specializes in that. Get in touch with them
sooner than later.
Yes. Because formatting probably took a huge percent of the time we actually wrote.
Well, we researched, and then wrote. It seemed like for months. But if we had not given ourselves a good month, if not longer,
Oh my
to
gosh,
do
to
just the
finalize
formatting alone.
and polish,
We
yeah.
wouldn't have finished when we did.
No.
Because it really was that time consuming, because it has to be so precise. Every dissertation at the school that you attend, I'm guessing it's the same everywhere. Everyone's has to look the same.
Yes.
Completely uniform.
Yes, and you have to order it, and you have to get it bound and provide a copy for the School of Music.
Yeah.
And you probably want a copy yourself.
Yeah.
So one thing that you can look forward to is just getting in touch with a proofreader and someone who will do it probably for free.
Not always, though.
Yeah, that's
at
true.
the school.
The school, if you do it through the school, they provide a lot of resources. So
They do.
always take initiative. Call your advisors. If you don't know the answer to a certain question, then figure it out. We had to go through so many different people.
There was a lot of proactive,
Independent
that you have to do as an
work.
individual. Yeah, especially our experience at the U. I don't know what it's like at other schools, but if you're not the one constantly following up, asking the questions, going to the people that will give you the answers, they're not going to come to you. You are responsible for your degree at the end. No one is babysitting you at all.
Yeah. So if we could give any advice, that's like number one, I think, for me.
Yeah, me too.
In this, yeah.
But I kind of think in the whole doctorate program that we experienced, I think that was kind of the approach through most of it.
That was the recurring lesson we would learn.
We learned that you have to be the one to follow through with everything.
And it's no one else's fault.
No. And if you don't find out something, you have no one to blame but yourself if you feel like you didn't receive information, because if you didn't ask, then sometimes you didn't get it.
Yeah. So that is the dissertation itself. And then our dissertation lecture recital, we talked a little bit about, I think mine was around 45 minutes and then it was done. It was just like in and out. Yeah. Super fast. The committee will ask a couple questions.
Yeah, at the end. And the general public that's there too. They'll ask some questions.
Yeah. And not as many as they will ask in the follow-up oral.
The defense.
Defense.
It's the lecture dissertation defense.
Yes.
Isn't that what it was
called?
The
defense. Lecture dissertation defense. Or the oral
where you
defense.
Just meet with your committee alone over your dissertation. And kind of also the whole program, because they ask you questions
about the overarching
the whole, and the things that we learned and what we gained, and it's kind of culminating interview in a lot of ways, I think.
And as far as that goes, when it comes time to your dissertation recital, you will be nervous because you don't know what to expect. But really, at the U, at least right now, the committee is very hands off with your research. You do your research and you bring forward what you've worked so hard to complete.
It has to be good.
And by that time,
it has to be complete.
Yeah, it has to be complete by then. So your dissertation, by the time you're giving your recital, is already in. Yeah. And so by that, hopefully it's a more calming, reassuring feeling to just go and present it, because I think we were overly stressed about it at that point.
I had heard all kinds of things that had me a little bit intimidated, but it wasn't a scary process to defend your dissertation. It was actually really awesome.
And relieving.
it almost felt like you were sitting among other doctors of music, and here you were making that transition, and they were now ready to talk to you in that way that you could eventually be addressed as a doctor, because you had proven yourself through all that effort and study and practicing and research, and it was just a conversation at that point, and they wanted to know your ideas and your thoughts, and you share it with them.
And same thing with the defense. Like, the defense was really just almost like a conversation with colleagues.
That's what it is, a conversation with colleagues. And at this point,
especially at the U, I don't feel like any of the professors or any of our committee looked down upon us. I think that they were very, at least in my review, they were just very interested in my topic, why I chose it at first, and then where I'm headed forward from here. And it's interesting now to look back at that time a couple months ago, because life has totally been filled with other things that I'm busy with, even though we've graduated.
I know.
You know?
I know.
So,
life is still busy. It just doesn't have the aspect of school in it.
yeah, which is really nice sometimes.
So wonderful.
And at other times, I do something I want to do better at is continuing to learn and perform and to polish my art.
Absolutely.
Especially since we're piano performance majors.
Absolutely.
If I walk away and I can't perform anymore, that's just such a sad thing for me to leave.
Absolutely.
You know?
And I don't think you ever will.
I hope not.
No, you won't. I think we all know it's really, really important. As teachers, musicians, we always need to be developing our skill, our craft, and continuing the education, absorbing more information so that we're always growing. How we do that, that's up to us now, since it's not in a scholastic setting. But absolutely, I think we both love the idea of learning and growing and developing, and so we'll continue to find opportunities to stretch ourselves just in new ways.
And it doesn't really feel like school is over.
No.
It doesn't, like, it was kind of anticlimactic because I
we
was
haven't
like,
walked yet.
We haven't walked yet. We walk in at the end of April.
Yeah.
So,
So we finished early, 2.5 years, when normally it's a 3-year program, but we've just been kind of hanging out until the graduation ceremony where we
and
get
as
to make
far
it feel
as,
more official and climatic.
Yeah. And what would you say is like your advice for anyone who wants to do the doctorate degree at the U? Would you tell them to rush through, like, we finished it so fast in 2.5 years, or would you tell them to take time? Because I'm kind of in between. I'm really happy I got it done so fast, though, so quickly. But at the same time, I'm just thinking, you know, life continues to go on. Yeah. And you still have to perfect your craft, and I still don't know everything in the piano world. I
will never know
I'm never
everything.
going to know everything. You know, I have to now do my independent study. And that's the thing. So sometimes I wonder, it's like, maybe if I took an extra semester, it probably wouldn't have hurt.
My mentality has always been, when I made that decision to go back to school, is you stay focused, you do everything as much as you possibly can so that you can be done sooner than later. Just because I'm a little bit older and I didn't want to stretch it out any more than was necessary. And I had wonderful support at home and family that allowed me to be able to do that. And so it was good for me to move at a fast pace. And yet I always felt like I was in control. I never felt like I had too much. So I don't think that the pace that we set was
too fast.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe it's different for each individual.
And it is. That's what I was going to say. It's probably different for every situation, because we had at the U, there are a lot of exchange students. So for them, it's harder to
push
just
through really
push
quickly.
through very quickly with the same feeling of security. Yeah. So you have to look at your own situation and just base it off of that. However, tuition is a lot cheaper if you can get done early, because that's less to pay and worry about. Yeah.
Doctorate degrees are not cheap.
We hope that you guys have gained a little bit more, you know, value from this video, whether you are thinking about getting your doctorate in piano performance at the U or at a different school. We think that it's an awesome idea for anyone to pursue.
It's definitely worth it.
It's worth it. It's maybe not for everyone, but if I can do it, I think most other people can. I'm definitely not as driven as some people here.
I would disagree. Verina, of all people, I don't know if I would have. No, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say I don't know if I could have got through the program without Verina, but
you would have.
The thing is, though, like, it was so good to have someone there as such a tremendous support through such an independent process. Yeah, because if I ever did have a question, I had someone I could go to, or we were each other's best cheerleaders, and
through thick and thin, you know, through all the ups and the downs.
Yeah, which obviously there's lots of those ups and downs. So it made it much easier, I think, in the end to get through the program with someone. So
Yeah. So we're excited for the future, and we will keep you guys posted. Hopefully not 5 or 6 months later.
Hopefully we'll have a sooner piano time.
Okay, bye.
That was good.